If you feel like life is pressing you, pulling you down, stretching you to your limits, and closing every door you try to open, you're not failing. You're being tested. And that is the best thing that could be happening to you, because success never shows up before a test. It only comes after. That is the law. You don't walk into greatness without first being refined, shaken, pushed, and even broken. Not to destroy you, but to prepare you. To strengthen your mind, awaken your spirit, and demand the very best of what lies dormant within you. You are not being punished. You are being evaluated. Life wants to know, can you handle what you say you want? It is easy to dream big, to write goals on paper, to say the words, I want wealth, or I want greatness, or I want to leave a legacy. But the world doesn't respond to words. It responds to proof. And that proof comes in the form of pressure. Think about it. A diamond only forms under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Muscles grow through resistance. So why would your character be built any other way? You're not behind. You're not lost. You're in the fire. And that's exactly where you're supposed to be. The test isn't there to delay your success. It is the doorway to your success. It's life's way of saying, if you want this next level, you must become a next level version of yourself. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Everyone is tested. The difference between winners and the rest is that winners understand this. They expect it. They embrace it. They lean into the discomfort because they know what's waiting on the other side. Personal power, mastery, freedom, the kind that no one can take from you because you earned it. You became it. If your plans are being slowed down, it's because the man you need to become to hold that vision has not yet been fully activated. Your current habits, your current mindset, your current level of belief, it isn't strong enough yet. Not for what you're building. So life gives you a challenge, not as an enemy, but as a mentor. You say you want success. Life says, show me. And that test, it doesn't come with fanfare. It's subtle. It arrives in the form of silence when you're putting in the work, but nothing's happening. It shows up in the form of betrayal, disappointment, exhaustion. It disguises itself in the ordinary, bills piling up, people quitting on you, self-doubt creeping in like a thief in the night. That's the test right there. That's the moment most people quit. But not you. Not now. Because now you know what's really happening. The test is asking, will you keep showing up when no one claps? Will you believe when nothing outside supports your belief? Will you commit when comfort tries to seduce you back to mediocrity? The test is spiritual, mental, emotional, and it's always fair because it gives you the exact challenge you need to expose what you must change. You've been asking for growth. You've been asking for success. You've been asking for the next level. And life heard you. It responded not with gifts, but with a grind. Not with celebration, but with confrontation. Why? Because gifts are easy, but greatness requires effort. You can't fake your way to the top. Not in a lasting way. You might sneak through a door, but if you haven't become the man who belongs there, you'll be escorted right back out. Success is not sustained by tactics, it is sustained by transformation. And that transformation only happens through testing. So now I ask you, are you willing to pay the price? The price is discipline when comfort would be easier. Focus when distractions call your name. Integrity when shortcuts appear. Faith when logic says quit. You see, the test doesn't care what you say. It watches what you do. When the money's not coming in, will you still show up like it is? When the results don't match the effort, will you double the effort? When the world doubts you, will you believe so deeply that the world has no choice but to adjust? Because that's what success demands. It demands that you become undeniable. Let me tell you something I've learned from decades of studying the richest men who ever lived. They all went through the test, all of them. They didn't just get lucky. They didn't stumble into fortune. They were broken, battered, doubted, and laughed at. But they kept going because somewhere along the way they learned to trust the test. They learned to see pain as a portal, frustration as fuel, delay as divine development. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about powerful thinking, strategic thinking, disciplined thinking, because your thoughts, not your conditions, create your future. Right now, the enemy isn't outside of you. It's not the market. It's not your circumstances. It's not your background. It's the fear inside that says, maybe I'm not enough. Maybe I waited too long. Maybe it's too late. That voice is part of the test. And the only way to silence that voice is with action. Act in faith. Act in power. Act with decision. Decision backed by definiteness of purpose, that cornerstone of success I've taught for years. Without a definite purpose, you drift. And when you drift, you become prey to every distraction, every fear, every test. But when you are rooted in a clear, definite purpose, nothing can move you. The storm may come. Let it. You'll remain. Because you know who you are and where you are going. And that knowledge is the first step in passing the test. The second step is emotional control. Fear is natural, but living in fear is a choice. You must discipline your emotional responses the way a warrior disciplines his sword. Stay sharp. Stay steady. Do not panic in the test. The moment you feel resistance, say to yourself, this is a good sign. This means I'm growing. This means I'm close. Every time you pass a test, and I mean really pass it, not by luck, but with conscious mastery, your mind expands. Your capacity grows. You become a bigger vessel, able to hold more power, more opportunity, more abundance. You don't get rich by chasing money. You get rich by building yourself into the kind of person who attracts it. And that kind of person is born not in comfort, but in testing. When you endure, when you press through, when you stay standing after others have sat down, you unlock doors others will never find. You start receiving insights that logic can't explain. People begin to say, how did you do it? And you'll know the truth. You were tested, and you didn't run. Now let me make this clear. The test will not end. It evolves. Every new level will bring a new challenge, but that is a gift. Because it means you're moving. The worst thing that can happen is not being tested, it's being ignored. It's being left to rot in comfort. That's where dreams go to die. But the man who is tested, often, he is chosen. He is called. He is on the path of transformation. And the test is not meant to crush your spirit. It is meant to forge your identity. You are not the same man you were last year. You shouldn't be. If you've embraced the struggle, the pressure, the silence, you have evolved. You have become sharper, clearer, stronger. That's the purpose of the test. Not just to achieve more, but to become more. So now, take a breath. Recognize what's happening. Stop labeling your trials as punishments. See them for what they are. A sacred refinement. A process of becoming. You asked for success. Life responded with a mirror showing you every weakness, every flaw, every excuse that must be burned away before you can rise. Let it burn. Let the fear surface. Let the doubt speak. And then overrule it, because that is your power. That is your right. That is your responsibility. You are not a victim of your tests. You are the student. And if you learn well, you will become the master. Not because you escaped the fire, but because you walked through it and came out gold. To reveal the real you, not the one dressed in comfort and fantasy, but the one forged in fire and conviction. Life will not hand you power without knowing first that you are strong enough to wield it with purpose. Understand this clearly. You are being tested not to fail, but to rise. You must come to realize the secret most never understands: success never arrives without resistance, because resistance is what builds the capacity to hold success. You cannot become more without opposition. You cannot step into your future while still attached to your past. So the tests begin, and these tests are not random, they are tailored. They are designed for the exact areas where your character must grow. If your confidence is weak, life will present rejection to strengthen it. If your patience is thin, delays will train your endurance. If your discipline is lacking, distractions will multiply until you learn to focus. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. And that preparation is sacred, because it is the furnace in which your destiny is being molded. Now I ask you, how will you respond? The average man complains. He asks why it's hard. He wishes for ease. He resents the process. But the man who is destined for greatness responds differently. He doesn't curse the challenge, he uses it. He sees in every setback the seed of strength. In every trial, the opportunity to rise. And in every delay, the deepening of his roots. Do not mistake delay for denial. Just because your dream has not arrived does not mean it is not coming. But it cannot come until you are ready to receive it. The universe operates in perfect law. It does not withhold to torment you, it withholds to mature you. You must be strong enough, clear enough, disciplined enough to handle the blessings you've asked for. If I told you that the delay is your advantage, would you believe me? Because it is. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without the valley, the mountaintop means nothing. Without the breaking, there can be no rebuilding. So embrace the test. Let it shape you. Let it strip away what no longer belongs. Let it burn off every excuse, every limitation, every ounce of fear. That's what the test is doing. Not punishing you, but purifying you. And here's the truth most won't accept. If you are being tested, it means you are close. The closer you are to the door of destiny, the more fiercely the winds will blow. That resistance is confirmation, not condemnation. It is life's way of saying, you are on the path. Keep going. Prove it, and prove it you must. Because you don't get what you wish for. You get what you are willing to become. And becoming is not easy. It is not convenient. It is not instant. Becoming is a painful, beautiful, transformative process. One that strips away comfort, ego, and illusion, and replaces them with clarity, discipline, and strength. But most people quit too soon. They interpret the test as a sign to turn back, and they abandon the dream right before the reward. Do not be one of them. Do not retreat when the trial begins. That is the exact moment to go deeper, to become relentless, because if the test is upon you, so is the turning point. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not cursed. You are being shaped, and shaping takes time. The oak does not grow in a day. The diamond is not formed without pressure, and the man of destiny is not born without trials. You, my friend, are being made into more, and every test is asking you one question. Do you still want it? If the answer is yes, then your actions must speak. You cannot just wish. You must work. You must train your mind to see tests, not as setbacks, but as steps forward. This is how the winners think. They see pain as preparation. They see failure as feedback. They see challenge as an invitation to rise. And that mindset alone makes them unstoppable. Because they do not fear the test, they expect it. And more than that, they welcome it. Ask yourself now, what if this test is exactly what I needed? What if this delay is making me stronger? What if this failure is waking me up? What if this struggle is sharpening my clarity? When you see your tests as teachers, everything changes. You stop resisting life and you start cooperating with it. You begin to trust the process. You begin to walk with faith. And faith is the greatest weapon you will ever carry. Because faith does not require the evidence to keep going. Faith moves even in the dark. Faith believes when nothing is visible. And that belief sends a signal to the universe, I am ready. Not because life is perfect, but because you are aligned. And when you are aligned, you attract exactly what belongs to you. But remember, the test comes before the reward, the furnace before the finish line, the silence before the spotlight. And only those who endure the silence, the heat, the resistance, only those will be strong enough to hold what is coming. You are being tested to prove to yourself that you are no longer the man you once were, that you are no longer available for excuses, no longer available for weakness, no longer available for mediocrity. The test is drawing the line between who you were and who you must become. And in that becoming, something powerful happens. Your energy shifts. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop begging and start commanding. You stop doubting and start knowing. Because when you walk through the fire and refuse to quit, you earn a kind of power no man can give you and no challenge can take away. That power is your unshakable will. It is the most valuable asset you'll ever possess. And it is born in the test. That is why I say again, be grateful for the test. Not because it is easy, but because it is sacred. It is the bridge between your vision and your reality. And every time you choose to keep going, despite the fear, despite the silence, despite the delay, you are building the bridge stronger. Step by step, word by word, day by day, and one day soon you will cross it. But for now, walk, even if the path is rough, even if the reward seems far, even if your legs are tired. Walk with faith, walk with purpose, walk with discipline, because you are walking into the man you were always meant to be. You are passing the test. And on the other side of that test is a life you cannot yet imagine, not because it is too far, but because you have not yet fully become the man who can hold it. But you're getting closer. Every step, every choice, every moment of integrity when no one is watching, every act of courage when you could have retreated, every silent victory in the dark. That is how you pass the test. And when the day comes, and it will come, when the door finally opens, when the dream finally arrives, when the breakthrough explodes into your life like the rising sun, you will not be surprised. You will not question if you deserve it. You will know that you earned it, that you became it, that you were forged for it, because you passed the test, not by running, not by wishing, but by walking through it like a man who refuses to quit. And that, my friend, is the mark of greatness. You are being tested not because you are weak, but because your future is strong. And to handle that future, to hold it in your hands and not crumble, you must grow into a higher version of yourself. That growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in challenge, in pressure, in fire. Do not curse the fire. The fire is your friend. It is melting away the impurities. It is forging your courage. It is creating in you the endurance that wealth, power, and peace will require. The man who collapses under the weight of testing is not ready for the weight of greatness. But the man who rises when others run, who thinks when others panic, who believes when others doubt, that man is the master of his fate. I have said before, and I say it again now. Every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. That seed, however, is only released through understanding. You must understand the nature of the test. Life is not testing you to break you. It is testing you to build you. And that building process will ask you to keep moving forward even when you can't see the result. You may be behind in money. You may be behind in skill. You may be behind in opportunity. But if you can pass the test, the inner test, none of that will matter, because success is not a race against others. It is a decision to refuse defeat, to keep your inner world aligned when the outer world is chaotic. That's the secret. The test is not outside you. It's within. You must conquer your reactions. You must master your emotions. You must destroy the tendency to give up at the first sign of resistance. That's the real examination. How do you respond when the results are not instant? When the applause is absent? When the reward feels far? That's the dividing line between those who try and those who transform, between those who hope and those who become. Let's talk about becoming, because that is the true journey. The world sees results, the car, the home, the success, but all of that is merely an echo of a deeper transformation. You don't get results before you get identity. You must become the kind of person who can hold success, sustain success, grow success. And that transformation takes time. It takes trial. It takes tests. But here's the truth. Once you become that person, success will chase you. It will find you. It will come in forms you didn't expect, because success isn't about chasing, it's about attracting. And you attract it by becoming a vessel strong enough to receive it. The test is part of that process. It's not punishment, it's proof. Proof that you can lead. Proof that you can rise. Proof that you can manage blessings without becoming a slave to them. So how do you pass the test? By choosing growth over comfort, discipline over delay, purpose over pride. You pass the test by doing what you know to be right, even when there's no guarantee of reward. By speaking truth when it costs you. By working hard when no one sees. By saying yes to the vision even when your current circumstances scream no. There will be days when you feel forgotten. Days when progress moves like molasses. Days when doubt whispers in your ear like an old enemy returning to reclaim its throne. But you do not listen. You do not quit. Because every test passed in silence is a declaration to the universe, I am ready. And the universe hears that. And it responds. This, my friend, is how you accelerate through life. Not by rushing, not by cutting corners, but by standing firm in the season of testing. When others fold, you flourish. When others retreat, you remain. And the man who remains is the man who reigns. The test prepares you for leadership, because leadership is not about commanding others, it is about commanding yourself, your mind, your attention, your emotional state. The man who cannot govern his inner world will be ruled by his outer one. And the test is the proving ground for that self-governance. So I say this to you. When the storm comes, stand tall. When the money slows, stay focused. When the opportunity fades, keep building. When the doubts rise, remember your decision. You did not come this far to be average. You did not endure this long to turn back. You were chosen to carry something greater. And greatness is always preceded by testing. You must earn your transformation, earn your excellence, earn your legacy. Do not envy the man who rose without resistance. He is not strong, he is unproven. But the man who climbed through fire, who fell and rose, who lost and learned, that man is unshakable. That man cannot be taken down, because he already stood through the worst. So now, as you walk your path, remember, the test is temporary. But the man you become by passing it, that is eternal. That is the version of you that writes books, builds empires, raises families with honor, inspires generations. This is not theory. This is law. And those who align with it, rise with it. Do not expect ease. Expect challenge and meet it with power. Do not beg for shortcuts. Ask for strength and use it with courage. Do not ask, why me? Declare, try me. Because the man who is tested is the man being trusted. Life will not promote you until it can trust you. And that trust is built in the shadows, in the lonely nights, in the silent days, in the battles no one else sees. That's where kings are forged. That's where leaders are shaped. That's where you are right now. Do not despise it. Do not fear it. Master it. Because once the test is passed, the reward is inevitable, not because the world hands it to you, but because you have become the man who commands it, and there is no power greater than a man who has earned his confidence through chaos, who has built his spirit in the fire, who has silenced the noise by anchoring to principle. This man does not ask, will success come? He affirms, success must come because I have become success. Let this be your declaration now. Let the test sharpen you, not shake you. Let it prepare you, not paralyze you. Let it build you, because it is building you. Every day you refuse to quit, you are winning. Every hour you stay aligned, you are advancing. Every time you act in faith, you are claiming your future. That is the secret the world overlooks. Success is not a destination. It is a reflection of who you've become through the test. And now, you are becoming unstoppable. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of consequence. Stand tall. Speak truth. Keep walking. The test